Welcome to Why Here? This is a short video series where I sit down with some people that I really look up to and talk to them about their decision to plant roots long-term in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. First up, we have Jacob Lynch. Jacob is an avid surfer and sailor who also works water rescue here locally in the Outer Banks. So I sat down with Jacob to find out why here.
I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I surfed a few times a year most of my childhood and was always like dreamed of being able to do that every day or once a week or something like that. Fast forward to my college year, was about a half hour away from some pretty subpar waves, but I found myself going more and more, and it kind of just became something that my life started to revolve around, and that's what kind of in turn brought me here. It was just, I just kept going back to the beach, and eventually I found myself a block away from it. So I'm pretty stoked to have made that decision. And even if the waves were bad, you know, coming from Virginia Beach, every day was a good day of surfing here. So, but I got a job at a surf school, you know, kind of realized the 9 to 5 wasn't for me there, but I did get to learn how to kiteboard for free. Made a lot of good friends out of that. I realized I was just as much in love with the wind as I was the water, you know, and it became another thing that I constantly made my schedule around, you know, what's the weather going to be like? And to this day, the weather is a huge thing as to how my week's going to go. What's my work schedule? What's the weather like? And how can I line those up to get the most out of it? There's a lot of sailors in my family too. My mom raced Hobie cats, and it was always something that I figured I'd end up doing at some point. You know, I bought it in May, did a lot of work on it. July 4th, I water tested it. As a typical sailboat goes, first time I went out, it took like 15 hours because the wind died. It doesn't get more cliche than that. This is the most stressful part of the whole day, is driving it there. The big thing that makes this boat unique for this area, it's so shallow here, is the swing keel up underneath. So there's a big winch that will pull that up to where it's a total flat bottom. I think kind of kiting got me back into it, kind of the intuitive wind understanding you get from that. The longest I've done is like 35 miles in one go. It's pretty fun, you know. Yeah. Doing wind sports and water sports is like, this is the slow, long distance side, and it is really fun to me, so. It was like $1,000 on Facebook Marketplace, and I just had a good feeling about it. The guy was just so cool. It was one of those things like, I got to buy this from this guy. And I talked to him for like 6 hours there. I mean, it was just one of the coolest Facebook Marketplace interactions of my life. Yeah, and it was kind of like, I was like, I got to fix it up because I got to show this guy I'm not just full of shit too. So it was nice because I was pretty busy with all the class stuff, and it was just an outlet, and I can work on it under my house, and I just go down there for like a few hours a day and sand and paint and all that, and everything else is just a surfboard ding repair project. Got a 1 hour ETA to the harbor. So yeah, as I said, I worked at a surf school for a while. Before that, the only thing I had done was lifeguarding. I started out at a YMCA back in Richmond when I was a younger kid, and worked on the beach, Virginia Beach, for a bit too. Moving down here though, I had no interest in doing it. I was like sick of sitting on a stand. It's a little bit different down here the way they do it. There's no stands. I was immediately in a truck with a jet ski on the back of it, and we were responding to 911 calls, and I was hooked on it. I mean, it was just like, cut out all the boring parts of lifeguarding that I hated and just fast forward to all the fun stuff. It's not like a lifeguard agency where you recruit, you know, D1 swimmers and stuff. Down here it's like, can you surf? Are you trustworthy? What it comes down to is how comfortable are you in the ocean? But yeah, that's where I got to see a whole different side of this just being a surf spot to this being an actual community, and meeting a lot more people that I probably would have never met if I never took that jump. And I just kind of really developed a intense kind of respect for this place. Learning more about the history of it, and I took a lot of pride, I still do take a lot of pride in serving my community here. So that's kind of what made me go that route instead of a different route. All the pieces seemed like they were coming together. I was like, I could see myself doing this for longer than 3 months, I said earlier. If I can think of one way to sum it all up, that it all comes together between what I do for a living and what I do for fun and all that, it's all assessment really. You know, whether you're responding to an incident and there's a problem to fix, and it's the same thing what we just talked about with checking the waves too. Yeah, living here really allows me to cross-train that part of my brain that I use in a professional sense, and it's not as serious. I get off work and I can come do an assessment on the ocean or kind of assess if I'm going to go out and sail today and how I'm going to do that. Being able to get off work and be in such a beautiful place, it's almost like a playground to me. Everything I like to do is here, and I'm really blessed to have that. So that's probably what keeps me here in the long run.